All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and say peace, mercy, and blessings to all the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he exists or he is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahushai, which means he is the deliverer. And we are the Hebrew Israelites. There's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay. And today we're being called by bywords and proverbs to conceal our true identity of being the Hebrews of the Bible. Today we're being called Negroes, African American, colored, black, West Indian, Native American, Seminole Indian, Latin, Hispanic, and various different names. We're pretty much the people of North, Central, South America, the Native Americans, indigenous Americans, you know, pretty much we're the people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. Now, to determine your lineage, you determine your lineage through the seed of your father. Okay. So if your father goes back to one of these people and you're of your father's seed, then that will make you an Israelite. Okay. And also, we're scattered all throughout the world. Okay. The self-proclaimed white man, they're not white, they're red. They are the Edomites, according to the Holy Bible. Okay. And dealing with the elites, the Rothschilds, bankers, etc., the Illuminati. Okay, they're in control of the earth right now. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They are the end of the world, and Jacob, Israel, is the beginning of it that followeth. So we're witnessing the downfall of an empire, of Esau's empire. Okay, this is an article from End Time Headlines. It reads, Putin ally predicts the U.S. will collapse in imminent new civil war. Okay, and the scriptures talks about war. Okay, actually in the scriptures it's called Egyptian against Egyptian. Okay. So I'm gonna go back up here. It says opinion. Former Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, issued a warning on Saturday. Okay, and Saturday, what a lot of brothers held camp. Okay, a lot of spiritual things happen on those days when we go out and teach. Okay, issued a warning on Saturday predicting the U.S., which is the West, which is Babylon the Great. Okay, the mother of harlots. There's many terms that the Bible calls it. Okay, will collapse in an imminent new civil war, which is what Scripture calls Egyptian against Egyptian, amid this year's election over Russian sanctions. Okay, since the Russia-Ukraine war began in February 2022, Western countries have imposed sanctions on Moscow, with several thousand sanctions on Russian individuals, businesses, and government institutions. Okay, so let's do some quick research. And it's a simple Google search. Definition of sanction says a threatened penalty for disobeying a law or rule, a range of sanctions aimed at deterring insider abuse. What is a sanction in simple words? Sanction has two nearly opposite meanings. To sanction can be to approve of something, but it can also mean to punish or speak harshly to. Okay, so you got the West speaking harshly to these other nations, putting all sorts of sanctions and restrictions on them, okay, to have economic control over these nations, to show a force of dominance over these nations, and to, you know, keep the number one spot of the world superpower. Okay, so and this is another way we know that Babylon the Great is that hammer. The scripture speaks about the hammer of the earth, where the U.S. is going around sanctioning these different nations. That proves them being what? The hammer. Okay? Britannica. An action that is taken or an order that is given to force a country to obey international laws by limiting or stopping trade with that country. Okay? And then you have something called what? Economic sanctions. Economic sanctions are penalties levied against a country, its officials, or private citizens to provide disincentives for targeted policies and sanctions. Economic sanctions include travel bans, export restrictions, trade embargoes, and asset seizures. Okay? So, you think these other countries like the West? No, these other countries, they're everybody has their eyes on the West right now. All right, and everybody, everyone's spidey senses is tingling as to what's going to happen during the elections. Okay, and while presidents are selected, not elected, and of course, we don't know who the next president will be. We can speculate, we can say this or that, but we really don't know who they're going to put in there. But one thing we know, one thing we can all agree on is that it really doesn't matter who they put in there because this shit is going to hit the fan regardless. Okay? Back in the article, the U.S. gradually expanded the sanctions and imposed as Sleepy Creepy issued an executive order in December which allows the U.S. to directly sanction foreign banks facilitating significant transactions for Gog and Magog. Okay? See, so this proves that Gog and Magog ain't a part of the beast, man. Okay, there's like all sorts of war and indirect war, because that's actually you might as well say that's war. You're putting sanctions on the country so they can't trade, they can't get what they need in and out, you know. But things are going to escalate for the third woe, and it's going to be one of those reasons that Gog and Magog gets that evil thought, you know. Washington threatened to block such banks that conduct businesses with firms that support Russia's defense industry from its financial system. In Saturday telegram message, Medvedev, deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, spoke about the current political climate of the U.S. and the 2024 presidential race, which will see former President Donald Trump, the GOP presidential nominee, face off against Vice President Kamala Harris, who won the Democratic presidential nominee after Biden dropped out of the race on July 21st, 2024. So everybody knows that this shit is a joke, man. Okay? You have other nations that are watching this elections, because they're under sanctions from the U.S. So a new president could potentially mean sanctions being lifted. It could mean all sorts of things, man. Okay, but we know whoever they put in there, they're gonna dance to the beat of the elites. Okay, and the whole world knows that, man. Out of spite for the current administration, Trump has threatened to lift sanctions against Russia, but will he really do it if elected? They never do what they say they're gonna do, man. No, of course not. For all his apparent bravado as an outsider, Trump is ultimately an established insider. See, people are waking up to the schemes of the West, and it's bullshit, man. Okay? So, yeah, man, the third world coming quickly. Egyptian against Egyptian coming quickly. All empires fall. We're in the time of the falling of the U.S. empire. All right? This is Jeremiah 50. I'm actually going to start at 9. For lo, I will raise and cause up to come against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. And one of the chief nations that's going to come up against this place is Gog and Magog. Okay? And they shall set themselves in array against her, which Canada ain't too far from Gog and Magog land if you look at a map. Okay? From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Now the arrows here is dealing with nuclear missiles. Okay? If you look up the definition of broken arrow, it means it's nuke. It means it's talking about a nuke that is gone missing. You call that a broken arrow. Okay? Excuse me. The modern day arrows in our time, this ain't like a war from 3,000-4,000 years ago between the Medo Persians and the Greeks. No. Now in our time, in the future, where knowledge is increased, according to Daniel, You now have nuclear technology. Nations possess capability with that of nuclear bombs, that to destroy whole kingdoms and shake the earth. And that's what's going to happen. Okay? So I'm going to jump down to 22. A sound of battle is in the land of great destruction. So we keep hearing talks of World War III between the Holy Land and the different Islamic nations over there in the Middle East. Then you got them calling on Babylon to get involved. Inside of Babylon, you have talks of martial law, UN troops uh, coming up against the migrants, and even civil war over this next presidential election, which is 2 months away. And this Wednesday on the Day of Atonement is the anniversary of 9/11. Okay, so we're in some very heavy spiritual times, man. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Great destruction is coming. How is the hammer of the whole earth caught asunder, right? Because this place is going to be hit with nukes. Okay, and them being the hammer of the earth is showing their force, which is part of the blessing that Isaac gave Esau, to live by the sword, to have the fatness of the earth, to have dominion, to break the yoke of Israel's dominion. Okay, Israel being the tribes. How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Yeah, that's what's going to happen, man. This place is going to find itself being destroyed. It's already despised. Other nations are already patiently watching this place to see how things are going to play out, which that's the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai on these people, on these different leaders of nations, their allies. Okay? Because it tells you in Proverbs that the king's heart is actually in the hands of the Lord, meaning the Most High is controlling these leaders and what they say and do. Okay? Reading on in the article, he added, but what about Harris? You shouldn't expect any surprises from her. She is inexperienced, and according to her enemies, just plain stupid. See, these nations, they know that this shit is a joke, man. Everybody knows it's a joke, but you niggas. You got niggas over here, make America sexy again, talking shit on live, mocking the Israelites, mocking the Most High. Okay? When Yahweh Hashem Yahushua sends that destruction, man, we're going to rejoice. Okay? Beautiful, meaningless speeches and boring, correct answers to questions. And ain't nobody voting for that bitch besides you, dumbass nigga woman. Will be prepared for her, which she will read off a teleprompter while laughing contagiously. There were sanctions against the USSR throughout the 20th century, and they've returned on an unprecedented scale in the 21st century. So it's sanctions forever, right? If Babylon stays in power, that means the other nations have to be under the hammer of Babylon. Okay? I mean, they're going to have to be under the sanctions forever. The other nations, they ain't going for that shit, man. So eventually the third woe is going to come. Or rather, until the U.S. collapses, which is what these other nations look forward to. Okay? During an imminent new civil war. After all, Hollywood makes films about this for a reason. So they're talking about the movie that came out earlier this year called what? Civil War. And it's called what? Meta Revelation Predictive Programming. So they're showing you what's going to happen before it happens, right? So let's get this in Isaiah. This is Isaiah 19:1. The burden of Egypt. The modern day Egypt is Babylon the Great. Egypt being a house of bondage for the children of Israel. The burden of Egypt. Behold, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai rideth upon a swift cloud, right? Because the judgment of this place is that, Yahushai, the Lord, Yahweh is going to send his son Yahushai back to invade this place, destroy it, and deliver his elect. Okay, that's one of the burdens. Another burden of this place is the coming nuclear destruction, the economic collapse. Okay, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. These people, their heart going to fail them. They're not going to know what to do. Okay, number 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Most High is going to make them destroy themselves. And they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor. city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So, despite who wins this coming, uh, despite who gets this, despite who gets in office next, Egyptian's gonna be put against Egyptian, man. Okay, so hey, and this is the future of Israel, man. This is the gospel. This is the good news. Okay, I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna close it. This is the book of Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will have mercy on Jacob, and that's the tribes, wherever they're scattered. Okay, despite how they look, what color they are, none of that matters. All that matters is the seed line according to the Father. Okay, it don't matter the language they're speaking, how they're dressing. What matters is if they are part of the elect or not. The Most High is gonna have mercy on them, starting with the elect, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. So we're gonna be taken from wherever we've been scattered and put back in the Holy Land. Okay, but that place is gonna get hit up too. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. The strangers are the Israelites, foreigners that have been scattered, that look like the other nations, may speak the language, dress like them, and carry some of their habits. You know, they're gonna be joined back to the elect of Israel, and they're gonna, and they're gonna relearn who they are, their customs, everything. All right. Number 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai for servants and handmaids. Finishing on, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So the people who had us in captivity, we're going to put them in captivity. Role reversal, trading places. Okay? And they shall rule over their oppressors. So this is what's coming for Israel, man. So this place going down is Israel coming up. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of that. Follow it. Okay. Number 3, it shall come to pass in that day, shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage where thou was made to serve. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how had the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased, right? And this place is ceasing, and it's become a mocking stock amongst the nations, man. You know? The Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai had broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers, and that's the staff and the scepter is what is the show of power and authority, and who holds those things, rulers, kings, etc. So this kingdom is going to be broken. It is being broken. It's just a matter of time. Number 6, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, and that's sanctions, that's dropping bombs on them, that's invading, stealing the resources, all sorts of ways this place oppressed other nations. He that ruled the nations in anger, and that's Esau, is persecuted and none hindered. Nobody's gonna, when the Most High throws this place down, no other nation's gonna try to stop in, man. Okay. Number 7, the whole earth is at rest and it's quiet and break forth into singing. This is how the nation's gonna respond. I mean, ultimately, you got Rev 18's got to be fulfilled. You're gonna have nations lamenting afar off. Okay, merchants, things of that nature. But when this place goes down, the whole earth is gonna be at rest and be quiet and break forth into singing. Number 8, yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. And someone who fells, a feller is someone who fells trees. And what Esau does, he cuts down other nations. Okay, Revelation 6:6, him being given a great sword. 6:4. Him being given a great sword to do what? Take peace from the earth. So, in the scriptures, men are also described as trees, and he's the fella. He's the one. He's given that sword to destroy people, man. That they might kill one another. So with that, I just wanted to do a quick lesson. I pray this was edifying. I'm gonna say shalom.